Hi, hello. Welcome again today, guys. Happy new month. Nice to have everyone here. Today we'll be continuing our session from where we stopped. We'll just continue from where we stopped. I will be sharing with us my screen, and then we move on to the deal of today. Let me share my screen, and I'll try as much as possible to be fast because we have spent a lot of time trying to do a lot of stuff. So I'll be fast as much as possible. This is my editor. So you can see we've done a lot of things before. I'll just close this down so that we can see as much as possible. And from our last class, you see we'll be able to process our data. Now we are moving from the milestone one towards to our milestone two. So let's come to our header here. So what marketing includes? So we've done project configuration, path management, and so on. So now we want to move on to our milestone three. Can you come in, please? I need to stop sharing for a while. So yeah, sorry, I have to stop sharing for a while. So now these are milestone two. We've completed our milestone two, data splitting, augmentation, loading. So our milestone three is now model training, evaluation, and saved weights. We now commit again before we move on to our milestone four. So yeah, so one recommendation for I would make a recommendation. No, I would make one small enhancement after this commit. Create a README specifically for the backend, or expand your root README with project overview, structure, and stuff. Okay. I'll just tell you it's let's move on to our milestone three and four. After that, we would come back to having a proper README for each of them. Hi, hello. Let's move on with milestone three for now. When we are done with milestone three and four, I think we would come back to have a proper documentation of our roots folders and our readmes. So let's go on for now. We still have a lot to achieve. Yeah, we have a lot to achieve now. So we are done with three and four. We just continue. So now help with those. Let's start with milestone three, and yeah, let's keep doing creating the scripts needed, folders needed, and executing them properly and efficiently. And while training, I would want you to also help with something while training. I want you want us to be able to like play around the number of things we can use to train. So we can play with, so we want to do like a test training instead of starting training and training everyone at once. We want to do some test training, maybe like using just 10 sets and then seeing how it works. And then later, if it works properly, we can now extend more. So we can have, there is no hard coded, we can change it at some point. You understand? Yeah, let's do that perfectly. Thanks. So yeah, this guy has already heard me now. It keeps coming up with what it feels like we need to do. And then from there we move on, we start our projects once it's done. So now we just need to start with the words with the milestone three for us. Now we are going to move on to actual training now. Once we've trained and we've created our backend, we can switch off and we can start our front end, which I don't think will be much of an hassle for us. Yeah, I'll send this in. Okay, still working. Okay. Okay. Now, saying yes, I completely understand, and I actually think that's the right approach. Okay, I do have some experience, so I know the right approach. That's why I'm able to like tell it what to do efficiently. Instead of training also 10,000 images, we will train by training pipelines to support different training modes. This is how many production ML teams work because it allow rapid iteration and debugging before committing to a long training job. Yeah. This milestone will focus on building a professional training pipeline, not just a script that trains a model. We will build it so it's configurable, reproducible, and easy to experiment. That we need to have that always. So now, under our app now, we're going to have a new folder called training. It will have its own init.py, trainer.py, evaluator. Okay, we have all these models. So under the training, we have models, we have no, under apps, we have models, we have its use. And under script, we'll add some more things to it. One thing I would like to improve, instead of uploading values like we would move almost everything to config.py. That makes sense. That means you can change one value without touching the training code. Example, training mode, debug, max training sample, max val sample, max test sample, airport. Yeah, you can see this makes sense. So these guys now can be in what can be in our config.py, and then we can do that. Later, I will simply switch to training mode full, max training, none, 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 go on a higher rate. So that's just it. That's just it. So now I think there are some things I can play around with. Let me do some stuff. And let me open this sideways while I open this full. So and anything that's gotten my chat VS Code has gotten an update. See the way it's arranging. This update looks weird by the way. I'm more I love when I'm using record than this. It looks weird and new. Anyways, they are locked. Okay, let's come to this guy. And notice it's still running. It's still running. I see you can see, yeah. It's still running. Like I think this is trying to create a lot of stuffs on the go. Perhaps it should just calm down. It should calm down and work one by one. So this guy. Now let me see. Let me come to my backend. Now my backend now we have app. Do you have training on the app? You don't have training on the app yet. So I'll put it in a new folder. New folder. I would see training, and then under training we now have a lot of what do we call it? A lot of files. So my first file will be init.py. It will have its own init.py and a lot more other py. Trainer, this one will work with training loop, evaluator, validation and testing, metrics.py, losses accuracy. So we keep creating this one by one. Actually, creating it one by one is quite stressful, to be honest. So new file, in this. I don't want to just pause to, you could actually vibe code more than this, but then let's do one. Let's do one by one. Let's do one by one. Right, to check the accuracies and the metrics. I hope you all know what to call metrics. Metrics just to be like to evaluate our training. So I think that's something you should have learned before for embarking on the project that says end-to-end project. Let's do losses.py. New folder. Callbacks.py. Why it is not done yet? I hope it's not doing rubbish in the background. Or is my network bad? New file. You say callback.py. And I'm even getting tired doing this, but then I'll be much more faster now. It will be py, yeah, that's py. We have history.py. This saves the histories of the training. History.py. Mind you, doing is not at rest. Why? Because this guy has been running for quite a longer time. So I would say efficient net.py. I'll put a new for this. New file for this. This is the file that we need. Factory.py. So what are we producing in the factory? Maybe we are producing the model. Yeah, that's what we produce the model. That's what we produce the model. Factory.py. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. And checkpoint.py. So now we want to have our utils. I think we should have utils before. Under API, we don't have utils. We don't have utils here. We don't have utils. Okay, we'll create our utils. Who would create our utils? I'll put a new folder on the app. A new folder named what? And I should be very concerned about the names that I'm using. Utils, is it correct? Utils, models correct. Training, my training correct. They are correct. They are correct. Now, okay, I think my utils should have an init.py by the way. The reason why it's not having, they're not putting it there. It should have an init.py so that it will know it's a package, and then it does not just take it as a simple code. So I would add an init.py, which was not mentioned. I would add it to it. C.py, device.py, device.py, init, let me add my init. I'll just use this guy, and then I would add an init to it. Yeah. Yep. Makes sense. What else do we have? Scripts. I think my script is what I have. In our script, we have this guy in our script. Prepare train. We have dataset.py, train.py. So now we are putting evaluate and predict.py. Evaluate.py. Predict.py too. Predict.py. So yeah, we got that. So now I want to check what this guy is doing in the background. I think my network ran bad. That might be what has been happening. Quick, please let me check my network to see if I'm really making sense. My network is somewhat good. Anyways, it's somewhat good. I'll reload the page soon. I'll reload the page. Let me see what it's saying over. So I'll just reload the page and we'll move on. So one thing I would like to improve, instead of coding all these values, okay, we'll move it to config.py. So examples, now config would have this. So now when I config.py, there's my config.py in my app. So it's under core, yeah, under core. I have my core, my config.py, and I those are the things that are below. They are below. So let me copy this. So I would copy this, copy successfully, mark for me. Okay, I think let's copy it. Don't do that. I don't know why this is taking time to copy, but I think I've gotten a hold of it. So we still move on to later, what we can use later. So we'll use this later. Now, this guy that we're not using presently now, I would comment it out. I would comment it out. I'll comment it out. And I'll save. I'll save. So next we come back to this guy. Even better multiple training modes rather than a single debug slash full switch. I would support safer mode. So smoke mode, debug mode, prototype mode, full mode. So when we are doing smoke test, we are doing 32 images, validation 16, post verify the pipeline works, catch bugs and shape issues, prototype, tune hyperparameters quickly, full image using everything. That'll be our final training. Then training scum. So UV run script train.py. We don't have anything in train.py currently, or we should run mode debug, mode smoke, mode debug. So we're having our different mode and we can use that to do what? Use that to run. Use that to run. So I want to make the full run with our what? Our full. Now model selection. I also don't want to add code efficient nets. We would build a model factory. Later you'll be able to do. Later you'll be able to do. So now we have model factory. You can use like we have different models. We have efficient nets, we have rest nets, we have so we are using pre-trained model. We're using some pre-trained models. So instead of you hard coding and doing one thing on your own, you can actually just change as you fit to you see body. You don't have to just use one without changing the training code. So without changing training code, you can use this in your what do you call it in our to run, yeah. So now checkpoint every approach we will save. So checkpoint we have best model, latest model, approach one, approach two, checking everything for that. So now our training history would have history.csv, metric.json. So we can plot loss and accuracies data. So early stopping will implement validation loss, monitoring patience, best model saving, and so on and so forth. Now evaluation, these are the evaluations that we're using: accuracy, precision, recall, F1 score, confusion matrix, classification reports, and save them under this guy, under reports. We'll save them under reports. So milestone 3, implementation order. To keep everything modular and testable, I would build it in sequence. So we have this sequence now, so we have to keep this sequence so that we can tell it, okay, do this, do this, do this, do this. And then it keep doing them as we need. Okay, you keep doing them as we now open my this and this here. So I'll say do for one, do for one, do for two, do for three, do for four, and then we keep moving on. So first thing first, let me reload this page. Okay. Now, so I would say let us do what? I also recommend one small adjustment before we start coding. Would extend the config.py to relate to this. I think I've done that. That gives us a single source of truth for both data and dot. Okay. So yeah, let's start with the changing of config.py and number one. Let's start with the expanding of config.py and also number one. So I don't totally, but then let's see what it does for us. Okay, so it says something. I think the perfect way starts now. It's saying these guys. It is now expand growing people. I know it is something related to what we have before. Okay, it has this now training mode, smoke. Okay, instead of doing okay, we just add all these to it. I think we have. I'm coming. Let me see. Do you have training mode before? Training configurations. We have dataset directives. Training mode debug. So now it's training us. Training mode should be like 4 5 things. Okay, I think. So I'll copy this. We'll copy that. We'll add it. Now we'll not remove everything from before. We'll just remove from this place that I added manually for myself. We'll remove it, and then we now add what do we call it to it? We'll remove from this place. We'll now add this one that we copied now. I did copy it for you. Okay, I think that's copied. Now add it below. We'll add it below. That we don't, yeah, I think now we've added it below. We have added it below. Yeah, makes sense now. So yes, I think we can move on. If you have any use data, we'll let it. We will let you know. Why training mode? This is the future I like the most because it matches exactly what you described. Instead of changing the code every time, you'll be able to do something like mode, training mode, and automatically get 50 and some other stuff like that. Now, the part two, utils. So now under utils, we have what seed.py. And let's copy our seed.py and then we'll add it. Where's our utils here? These are our utils and these are our seed.py. Just paste here. Okay, you can see now we have the seed.py provide reproducible experiment by fixing random. Okay, my name reach. So now not telling me something. Since we now created seed.py, I would slightly improve app data loader.py. So now under our data loader.py, I want to change something here. I want to change something here. Okay. 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 Okay, I think I got something. I got something. This data is being ignored by GitHub. So you know it is, I'll call it, maybe I'll change the name to data scripts or something. It's been ignored by GitHub, so it's not presently used by GitHub or even pushed to GitHub. That's because we have said we don't want to push anything that relates to data to GitHub. I will try to change it. So we now had we would later use utils from add.utils or seed import seed worker get generator. So we need this. Where am I putting it? Where can I put it? Let me put it here. No. I don't think I've successfully copied it. Okay, copy it successfully. Let me come back here. Yeah. So we'll do this. Data loader, get this. But data loader should have been stated before. It should have been stated before. Coming. Data loader should have been stated before. Let me see. So you can see we're having issues here, errors here. Information for data loader. Okay, it is here. It is okay from touch.utils.data. Now we're using from app.utils.feed. Get import seed. Let me see where else we have data loader. Okay, data loader here, data loader here. Return data loader. This. Return data loader this. It's telling us data loader equals to print dataset. Blah, 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 blah. Let's wait. There's an error here. There's some issues here. But let's see. We would come to resolve them later. This ensures blah blah blah. Next step. Move on to the next. Move on to step 4. Move on to step 4. Step the next. It's not step 4. Step 2. Think I didn't basically pressed OK. Okay. Move on to the next step. So now apps under our device.py, it is device.py. That's where I'm moving on to now. So we're having one issue in data loader. We're coming back to it. We're coming back to our issue in data loader. So yeah, let's see what it has now. So these are space.py. We try to copy it. Let's make sure it's copied successfully. So it handles getting the device for us instead of us having to disturb ourselves. It gets it for us and then we just move on. Okay, it gets it for us. Okay, so we can use this while working. We can test run. We can test run. So test run, yeah, and I like that of test run. You can test run, you can say UV run Python app tools. But if you use a backend to run this, if you do CD backend, and then you can paste this here. Let's see how this goes. Expected information is to give you device information, device name, CUDA available, CUDA device, example output for CPU, example output for GPU. Okay. So let's see. Next file. Okay, I think I'll just tell it to move on to the next file. Okay, move on to the next. Move on to the next. While we wait for the output for that, move on to the next. So now we have to use logger.py under actives. We are using logger.py. So let's get our code. So you will lose track of trying to read what you are writing. So this would handle logging of how our training, how it is doing. So just copy this. Let's copy this. We are copying this and then we're moving into the next. So we are doing Control V. It's now logger.py now. We are saving. I want to try to close all this. Close saved. Close all my saved ones. The one that are not saved, don't close them. You can see now it's telling me my device was CPU, the name is CPU, CUDA not available, CUDA device 0. You can see now it will simply know if my device has the, instead of me trying to set, okay, I'm using a CPU, use CPU, I'm using a CUDA. This code can move from anywhere to anywhere, any computer, and choose the best available for it. So you do is instead of doing print started, we'll be doing this instead. Instead of print loss, we'll be doing printing loss. Instead of doing all those warnings, printing it. So you can do a test for it too. Let's do a test for it too. What was your no. That's not me. Let's do a test for this guy. I could actually see it use logger.py. There is an issue. You was going to read app it use no module named app. Okay, it was this one. It is good to know the error now is this thing that's causing error, this slash. It was forward before, it changed to backward. So that's why you have that error. No, nothing to panic about. It's not like our code has error. Okay, it looks like That's what let's check now. UV run Python app. Okay. 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 We're getting an error. From app.code.config import log directory. Module not found. No module named app. 917. Where is this guy? 917. So you see, we're not seeing this guy. We're not seeing this guy. I've noted two errors that happen at it. So we'll debug. We have error from data loader, and also we have error from this guy now, logger.py. We'll be checking both later. Let's just you see copy this logger information. Okay. You will also get a file backend logs training.log. Okay, now before we build our model, this is where we make architectural improvements compared to many tutorials. Most tutorials create the most direct training, for example. So now we have models. Instead, we create models. I think we have models already. We have models here, and they do contain all what is present here: efficient nets, factory, checkpoint.py. Now, these are benefits. You can switch from efficient nets to rest nets to others. So this design will make milestone 3 cleaner and save us a lot of factory refactoring when we start comparing models. Okay, nice. Good work so far. Although I've done some shitty things, but I'll just tell you. So far, let's continue with the next step. With the next step. Now to check my steps again. We've done feed, device, logger. Now we move on to efficient nets, factory losses, metric.py callback. Okay. We still have some very long way to go, by the way. Very long way to go. So now phase 2 model. Doing 3 things. Okay, so the first thing is telling us milestone 3 phase 2 model. We need to create structure. We need this. Today efficient.py, not supposed to be we are doing it. So in our init.py, we should have this in our init.py. Let's put this in our init.py. Next time I populate now our init.py. And what does this say? Let's try to make model package from factory import create model. So it will request this to create model. So that means this will be needed in our maybe our efficient net is using it, our checkpoint is using it. So would help us grab it from factory.py. Now efficient net.py create this guy, copy this code into it. So I'm coming out to something. We are getting efficient net from what? From PyTorch. So we are getting from PyTorch. Okay, let me be saving to avoid issues. And people like why am I saving I like saving manually my stuff. save it automatically so that I can be able to iterate when I make issues, when I find conflict. So now let's move on. Let's come back here. Uh, what I'd like to improve, since we are building this personally, I would like to add more statistics directly into this file, something like which prints. Okay, this is actually useful because every time you change, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's add that before moving to. Let's add that before moving to factory.py. Keep everything you already have and append the following. So you can append this one to it. We're appending to it just after create coefficient. So to our efficient net the py after our function create the efficient. So if you work with Python, you know what we call append. You know what to call append. Okay, now we'll append it after this. So before this guy, it should be before this guy, before running our main stuff. So after create efficient, we now have this guy that now says dev model summary function that creates model summary, notice that count parameters. Yeah, so we have create efficiency. Yeah, makes sense. Looks good. Let's move on to replace the block. Okay, we have to replace it with something here. We have to replace it with. Okay, we should replace this with this guy. Let's place this guy here. As it has model summary after model, it has model summary. So we remove this guy now. Remove this guy. Okay, I'll just save. I can disturb me. Okay, so expected output when we run this. Do I really want to run it now? I anticipate issues by the way, but do I really want to run it now? I don't think I can do that. Let's check. Let's check. No, no, no. Control C, Control C. Am I too lazy? I'm too lazy to type CLS. Good. Let me click on enter. Let's see what it does. These are our expected outputs. These are our expected outputs. If you later change to freeze backbone through instead of model summary, we can do model. I'll slightly design it to accept the model. Rather than stopping here, I recommend we make this file model agnostic because in a few minutes we are going to build practice.py. Okay, so let's do this. Model summary. So I think I'll add this. We'll just add this. Nah, think it's copied. Yeah. So now just remove this. Knowing how to remove things efficiently without breaking things are like it's like a skill too. It's like a skill on its own too. So okay, let's move on. Later we had RESTnet feature. Okay, exactly the same summary perfectly well. Now rather than typing. Okay, this has not worked yet. This is yet to work. I'm waiting for it. And it's not working. Why are you really not working? I think I'll open my codex here now to resolve this issue. If my codex is still active, is my codex still active? If it's still active, I will open it to solve this. Mhm. Am I still recording? Am I still my session still going on? Okay, I think it's still going on. So let's come back. Let's come back here. I'll do this. Okay, I'm out of message. Now upgrade. Use cloud code. But then yeah. Mm, 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 mm. Let's move on to the next phase. Let's move on to the next phase, please. Okay, so yeah, let's see what the next stuff looks like so that we can then do it easily and successfully. So we have completed these, we've done these. Let's see. Now we're moving on to our factory.py. Many projects do this. So we're calling the functions. That means today sufficient net, tomorrow something else, something else, something else. So the training pipeline never changes. We just use different. So now factory.py, you can see you are having this. We will copy it and then use it in our guy here. I need to copy it successfully. It has been copied successfully. We can then move on to some other things. Okay. Mhm. Small updates. We are into small update on our efficient.net. We update from this guy to what? Efficient.net. We update on this guy to what? We have model summary. The model summary will now say model summary will now say model, model name. After model, we have now our model name. So yeah, let's checking our students easily without breaking anything. Yeah, yeah, this is what I want. This is what I want. No, 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 no. That's me and you. You never implicate me. Oh, nice. What's happening now? I think my PC is hanging. Wait. Let's wait for it. Let's do this. I'm going to change this from this to what? To model name. This we'll be stating the model name inside. We'll be stating the model name inside. And why is this taking time? We've been recording for quite a long time. As I got it back. So, okay, let's see. I think we'll have seen what we're trying to achieve. Um, oh, okay, I think, yeah. What's happening? Why is it being slow? Okay, we'll change this line, change it to this. No, let me just put let me just put it under here. Yeah, I think this is copied now. You see, now the whole project becomes okay. Instead of setting our model name, we can just call this. We can call this easily. Now try to test now. Well, I don't want to test right now. And let's see, let's see. I don't want to test right now. It will pop up an error. So I will just move on with it. So now our next space is what? Our checkpoint.py. Our checkpoint, and that's which number on the list. Never on the list, that means we are still on this number 4. So yeah, we pausing here. After that, we're doing this behind the scene and then getting back to us. Let me just try it. I'll try to get for the code for the milestone 3 and milestone 4 ready. I will give an explanation of it, and then based on that, we move on. Let's not get this recording too longer. Yeah. Yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Kindly like, subscribe, and follow. Thanks.